Good afternoon, Colorado. Welcome to today's episode of What's for Lunch. I'm your host, Larry Hers, and today I am honored to have Chef Lon in here from Yumcha, Dumplings, and Noodle Bar from Lodo. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Welcome, Larry. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
So it took 2 years of stalking you, and I know you're extremely busy opening restaurants, getting engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, it's exciting.
So
I have a fiance now, which is great.
Let's start with that. Who's your fiance?
Her name's Katie LaSalle. She's a wonderful woman. Actually met her at Cholon when she was doing a story about my French onion soup dumplings for a Channel 7 news article that she was working on.
Those world famous dumplings. Before we get into the restaurants, let's talk about you personally. What's your background?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Midwest. Went to culinary school at the CIA in upstate New York. Had to live in New York City after my time in New York. Was a chef in New York for a decade. I worked predominantly for Jean-Georges for 6 years. And then afterwards, I was the chef at Budokan for another almost 5 years after that. 2010, the economy tanked, decided to take a leap of faith and move to Denver, and it's been the best decision that I've ever made in my life.
Why'd you choose Denver?
You know, in 2010, it was like Denver was kind of a growing food scene, right?
Okay.
New York was great, but with the economy, restaurants were closing. It just kind of lost its pizzazz. So I had some friends from high school that lived in Denver, and they said, hey, Lon, come and check it out. And I was overly impressed with what was going on out here and moved out here and opened a, sort of a progressive modern Asian concept with Cholon.
Okay.
And that wasn't really a thing that was in Denver at that time. So kind of found our little niche in the market and got some great press. And now we're up to 4 restaurants with 3 more in the works.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Yumcha first.
Yes.
What's the concept?
So Yumcha, Dumpling Noodle Bar. Like I said, I was the chef at Budokan in New York. I was blessed enough to move my Chinese dim sum chef from New York at Budokan to Denver about 3 years ago. Her and her husband do all of my dim sum in a commissary kitchen. And what I realized in a lot of my Asian concepts is that dumplings and noodles are kind of the tag words that people get excited about.
It's true.
So Yumcha, fun word, yum, yummy. Yumcha.
Did you make that up?
No, Yumcha, the word actually means it's to go out for brunch and to drink tea.
Oh, all right.
So it's actually a verb in Chinese that says, hey, let's all go congregate together and have brunch together and enjoy a lot of dim sum. So taking that word and saying it, Yumcha, yummy, it seemed fun. We focused on dumplings and noodles there, which are what people seem to really be drawn to as far as my other Asian concept, Cholon, in Denver. And it's just been a great success. People have been really enjoying it. It's a small little restaurant, only 40 seats.
Yeah.
We're open for lunch and dinner, and things are great.
So I've been fortunate to be there twice in the last few months, once just to eat and once to film. You could see it's on YouTube, Restaurants Near Me, Lodo, the most recent episode. Yumcha's on there. And the food's insanely good. And I say that in the video, this food is insanely delicious. And I had all 4 of these amongst a bunch of other things. What's great about it is it's so meant for sharing.
Sure.
It's so social there.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea, right? Like, get your own bowl of noodles as your own entree, roll up your sleeves and slurp up some noodles. And as far as all the first course or those small bites, dim sum are concerned, yeah, just order a bunch and just have a couple pieces for everyone at the table. It's a great way to eat.
We're going to start moving stuff over to the close-up here and start telling people what these are.
That's the crab and cheese Rangoon purses. So I don't love the wonton wrappers. They're kind of chewy sometimes. So this is actually just the spring roll wrapper. So much thinner, much crispier. You get the top of that purse, which is super crunchy, and then that really nice fresh crab ricotta cheese mixture inside.
And what's the sauce?
Just a really fun homemade sweet and sour sauce. Has some sriracha in there, a little bit of maploy, fresh lime juice, rice vinegar. Yeah.
He actually knows what's in his food.
Absolutely. I make all the recipes.
All right.
Yeah, I do it myself.
Good.
These are, I call it a crystal dumpling. In Chinese, it's the traditional hagao, which is basically a dough made out of tapioca starch as well as rice flour. You use an oiled cleaver to essentially push the dough into a perfect little thin disc, and then you make the dough into the shape. Here, we have shiitake mushrooms and carrot inside, and it actually looks like a little mini carrot. So really, that's a lot of work that goes into that, right? A real pro is clearly making those dumplings with every pleat being the same, the fun little scallion sticking out of there to represent the top of the carrot.
She's an artist.
Yeah, it's really a special thing to have Michelle and her husband here making the dumplings for the company. So,
and this is kind of, to me, like your signature. I don't know if you think it is.
Well, you know, it's funny that the French onion soup dumplings at Cholon became our thing.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't my intention, but
You
putting
didn't know you weren't like, this is a home run?
No, it was
People
just kind
gonna
of fun.
freak
I thought
out?
it would evolve and be, cream of mushroom soup dumpling, lobster bisque, and just kind of, have fun flavors. But the French onion soup just took off. This is a little more traditional. It's a play on General Tso's, or I call it General Cho's dumplings.
Okay.
And just a different colored wrapper, so you can tell the difference between the different dumplings. And then inside you have all the flavors of General Tso's, General Tso's.
But in a soup form.
In a soup form, yeah. It's chicken inside, and then rice vinegar, soy sauce.
So these things right here are, you brought them from downtown, so they're not. But in general, they're so freaking hot.
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
You did it.
So you gotta wait a minute after you get them.
Yep.
The first time I had the French onion soup dumplings, they're like, you have to wait. I'm like, yeah. And then I didn't wait long enough. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have waited.
I've definitely paid for a good amount of dry cleaning bills in my days, Larry, for people that are dribbling that hot soup down their
But
shirts.
they are unbelievable. You gotta get them if you go visit him. And then this thing too, I don't know what this was, but you could sell these crunchy things on their own. They were so freaking delish.
Yeah, so this is so it's the same wrapper as these.
Okay.
We shred them into just the long pieces. It's a really fun shrimp mousse that has lemongrass, coconut milk. So all those really fun sort of Southeast Asian flavors made into a shrimp mousse. And then you just roll the ball of mousse. Yeah. And then the dipping sauce is just a very traditional condiment called nuoc chum, which is fish sauce, lime juice, a little bit of chili in there, made into a mayonnaise that you can dip or spoon the little, call them pom-pom shrimp because they look like pom-poms.
When we filmed you, I also had the ramen. Holy cow, you make great ramen there too.
Thank you, yeah.
What are the hours over at Yumcha?
Yumcha, we are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
Open for lunch Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then dinner only on Saturday and Sunday. However, very soon we're going to be launching a dim sum sort of brunch in the next handful of weeks, where it's just going to be all great things like this. Probably less noodles and more of just a very straightforward dim sum brunch meant for people to come in and order a bunch of different dumplings and share them and kind of celebrate the art of Yumcha.
Do you do a happy hour?
We do a happy hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we open at 2 o'clock on the weekdays and then 4 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays for happy hour.
Okay. And what's the address?
The address is 1555 Blake. It's right in between Wazee and Blake Street on the 16th Street, just past the mall.
And since you're here, we might as well touch on the other restaurants because I've been to them and especially to me, LaRue is like so elegant. Like it's the easiest way to go to Paris without getting on a plane.
I appreciate that. So before I even knew what lemongrass and chilies were, the beginning part of my career was all the very classic French, brigade system, right?
Yep.
So I worked in France for a year, spent some time working in Italy as well as Spain. So at LaRue, I really focus on kind of those countries that border the Mediterranean that I've had a lot of great experiences in my younger career. And just having fun with it. I named it LaRue. Chef Xavier LaRue was one of my mentor chefs from New York. He's an older.
Does he know you named the restaurant after?
Oh yeah, he came out for the opening. Like him and his wife, where we shared moments. So it was a very special moment for me to be able to kind of pay homage to him sending me along to France to work in these amazing Michelin-starred restaurants when I was a wee lad.
And I'm not a brunch guy, but I had brunch at LaRue, and that would convert me. That cinnamon roll to start you off with, and I don't like French toast. It's like I don't do sweet for breakfast. Yeah. But that brulee on that French toast was next level yummy.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just about kind of taking traditional ideas and just, doing something a little different to make them your own. So.
And then we touched on Cholon a little bit. Tell them about you have 2 locations of that.
2 locations, yep. My original Cholon is right on the corner of 16th and Blake, and then LaRue's adjacent to that, and then Yumcha next to that. So all in the Sugar Cube building, all 3 restaurants are right in a row. I opened Cholon almost 11 and a half years ago now.
Wow.
So that's why I moved from New York City to Denver originally. And Cholon's great. Started off as just a fun restaurant, family style service. That was kind of a little bit of a new concept in Denver 11 years ago when we opened, and people just kind of got into it.
And the new one is where?
The newer one is out in what's now called Central Park, halfway between downtown and the airport. And a great location there. We've got a fun little dim sum kitchen there that I'm actually now converting into a raw bar program.
Wow.
So since we've taken all of our dumpling production to a centralized kitchen now, a commissary kitchen, I'm not gonna work on a fun little sort of raw, some hand rolls, some tartares, crudités, whatnot. So.
And you hinted you got 3 coming, so 3 new restaurants coming. So you'll have to come back on the show when those get up and running and bring us some more food. And,
looking forward to it.
yeah.
Thanks
for coming in. It's an honor.
Oh, thanks, Larry. Appreciate you having me.
There's no What's for Lunch tomorrow, but we'll be back Friday. And I am going to put this in my pie hole. And I've eaten this before, and it's freaking delicious. And it's going to be messy. Let's eat. It's so good.